we got our 2022 Volkswagen Golf R. Now, I gotta tell you, I've always been a hatchback guy, and this thing is sweet. It is a lot of fun to drive. Cam's had it for the last 3 months, and he's done a tremendous job modifying this thing. So let me give you a quick walk around on condition. Make sure to check out Cam's channel with the full build. But as you can already see, there's a ton of carbon on this car. It's stanced out. It's got huge brakes. This thing's ridiculous, and it's just a blast to drive. We're actually gonna do some driving videos on this guy. So just starting in the front, you know, what you'd expect. This car has 17,700 miles or so. So there's a couple little dings, like just rock chips or stone chips, I should say. Overall, front end's in pretty darn good shape. Sorry, there's some smudges on there. Somebody fired the detailer. That would be me on this one. But that's a new front lip. Radiators, everything look like they're in pretty darn good shape. Overall, windshield has a couple little stone chips in it. Nothing major, no cracks or anything like that. Wheels are in good shape. These wheels are actually Audi rotors. I think these might have come off of the S4 that we did, but they look cool. The brakes are amazing. The brakes just really fill up the wheels. The calipers are color matched from the factory. It looks great. There's a small dent right here. I don't know if you can see that in the video. These mirror covers, these are carbon mirror covers. This one's in pretty good shape. The other one has a little bubble in it. Car does have a nice size sunroof on it. We'll keep coming around. There's another small dent right there. Again, oversized brakes and rotors. Wheels look like they're in good shape. Tires are in good shape. This carbon rear diffuser is so sick, and the exhaust on this thing just looks amazing. Let me kind of back up and give you the view of this. Back end looks really clean. I love the little hatch spoiler on these things. All right, coming around to this side. Again, wheels in good shape. It's a little dirty there, but no curb rash. Don't see any dents anywhere on this side. Now this guy, again, carbon, but it's got like a little bubble. I think the heat just got to it. Cam said he's getting a new one, so we'll make sure we include that with the sale. I just love those brakes. There is a little scratch right here, and then windshield from the other side. Let's go inside. So the cockpit on these things is actually pretty slick. It's got the Golf R floor mats in it, Golf R seats. Seats are in just tremendously good shape. This was an auction car, but overall it's super clean, good shape. Cam's got his Karma Speed removed before flight on there. Wireless CarPlay, pretty killer sunroof setup in these. Let's look at the back seat. You know, door panels are all really clean. Seats, no creases, no rips, no tears that I see. Oh, look at that little blue accent. That's pretty slick. Pull this guy down. A couple of cup holders pass through. Restraint locks if you're rocking and rolling and you got short ones to put in the back. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the hood. We'll get up there in a minute. I don't even know how to open the hatch on this thing. Probably need the key. I'll get the key. Fuel filler, this is a 91 octane car. It is not set up for E85, so super easy. I love the power E85 makes, but it's kind of a bummer when you got to go find it. Door panels in good shape. Again, with these little blue accents, these are cool. Not a lot of leg room when you put that seat all the way back. There's a couple dimples, like somebody might have had a car seat in here once upon a time, but otherwise it's pretty clean. Coming up here again with the R floor mat. This one is a little loose. Seats in good shape. Dash is in great shape. Let me grab this so that I can open the trunk. Unlock. Come on, Mr. Trunk. Oh, look at that. Okay. Pull. Unlock. Okay, that's pretty trick. Super trick. Confused the car guy. Killer trunk. Couple of spots here. That just looks like dust. Looks like there's a wrench or something that went in there that's not there, like the road flare. Cargo protection system. Let's see what's under here. Mini spare. Yeah, okay. This is pretty trick. This, really cool. Dig that. Definite bonus. You can all laugh at me because it was that hard for me to figure out how to open this thing. Let's look under the hood. Now this thing has, I think literally, again, every carbon fiber piece, easier to open the hood than the trunk, I guess. Every carbon fiber piece that 034 Motorsports makes, it's ripping. It's like a little ostentatious for me, but I think it's pretty awesome actually. So all the carbon stuff is in here. It's got an intake. You look at the channel, look at the dipstick. It's pretty amazing from ECS. This thing looks great. Now I will tell you, the first time I drove this, I noticed something. This hood strut hits this little carbon thing. If I'm driving this car, I'd probably take this little carbon thing off, and it makes it pop out of place there. And then when it does, this tilts and it says like, hey, your coolant's low. Well, the coolant wasn't actually low. It just popped and tilted. So you can see it hits it right here. So know that. Don't love that, but I would probably just take that little carbon bead off and you'd be in good shape. And it could actually be this ECS hood prop that's causing it, so that you don't have to use the like over the top hood prop. But that's one thing. Just know that if you buy the car and you get a low coolant light, it's probably that. But the rest of this, man, this thing looks super cool, super mean. It sounds mean. It's fun to drive. Okay, cool. We're gonna go drive it. All right, you're watching me fight with the technology. I'm not fighting with it. It should be nice. Connecting CarPlay. Use CarPlay. Apple CarPlay. I don't know what it is about German cars. Like, look, I've been in this thing for 45 seconds and I'm gonna start complaining. I feel like every German car I get in, the technology is like slow. This one looks cool though. This has a really cool dash display. It's all touchscreen. It's got air conditioned and heated seats, which it's 96 degrees out, so I definitely need some air conditioned seats right now. Let me turn this fan down a little bit so that you can, oh my gosh, the dash is oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay, I didn't know this. I'll have to show you this. The dash is touchscreen, but like not the dash. The part below the dash is like haptic touch. It's kind of cool. Okay, all right. I guess I have to take back what I said about German cars and their technology not being great, because that's kind of cool. But I can't figure out how to turn down. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got that. Exit. Back to Apple CarPlay. Got the clicker, got that, got this. All right, here we are. 2022 Volkswagen Golf R. This thing has 17,780 miles on it. I just saw this car for the first time about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, when Cam finished with it. Now, I've been watching it online, and this has been really fun for me, this partnership with Cam at Karma Speed, because you know, it lets me go out and like find some cars that I think are cool. Like, I grew up a Honda Civic hatchback kid, 92 to 95 Civic hatch. Favorite rally autocross car. You do an engine swap in one of those things, put a little turb ski on it. Those are amazing. Those are some of my favorite cars. And so when Cam told me he wanted to do a hot hatch, if you will, with this Golf R, I was all in on it. We did the S4. That went really well. I had fun with that. Cam's been a great partner to work with on these. He keeps me in the loop. And overall, I think he does a really good job doing quality builds, and they're tasteful. Like this car, for example, I've driven it a little bit, and I'll just tell you, it's fun. And it like makes a cool noise. It does all the turbo sounds. You'll see when you watch Cam's videos, like it's got turbo noises, killer exhaust noises. It makes good power, but it's still tasteful. Like, it's not going to piss off my neighbor my stock Z06 is like 10 times louder than this thing is. So I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. Now, as usual, and I don't know why, but I neg all these cars. Like, not just the modified ones, the stock ones usually more. But this one is modified. It's got stiffer suspension on it, which makes it handle awesome. We're gonna go drive it a little bit. We're gonna hit some twisty stuff and just see how it feels. But coming through my neighborhood, which I'm in an older neighborhood on the side of the mountain, the roads are terrible. Like, you can see me, I'm like hitting the bounce a little bit. And so, you know, if you're buying this thing and you live in a city like I do where the roads aren't amazing, just know that you're in for that. But this thing's super sick. So it's all-wheel drive, turbocharged. I don't know, I don't have the list on the top of my head of everything that Cam did to this, but it's all on the channel. It's all super well documented. So first impression of this car is like, it looks amazing. When you walk up to it, it looks really good. It sounds great. As you start to drive it, there's one thing, like you'll hear it. I don't have any music on or anything, and I have the air turned down so that you can hear me. It sounds like, and I think it's because he put like really stiff bushings in it. You can really hear the suspension working. And that's the best way that I could describe it. It sounds like you can hear the impacts. It's not rough, but you can feel it. And so I think some of those are like the more solid transmission mounts, motor mounts, stiffer bushings, all that stuff that makes the car perform better. You know, it just makes it a little bit more noticeable. It's a little less refined. It's certainly not unbearable, but just know that if you're gonna buy it, like, that's what you're getting into. I like the steering wheel in this thing. Like, it's got some perforated leather on it. I think VW did a really nice job with all the blue accent pieces in this. It looks cool, and the steering wheel just like feels good. It's a flat bottom wheel. It's got some flares in like the right places so that you feel a lot of confidence when you're hanging on to this thing. The shift paddles feel really good. They feel like they're either aluminum or titanium or something. Cam may have changed those. He showed, like, if I was Cam and I watched me do these videos, I'd be like, dude, really? Like, you don't even watch every like detail and pay attention to the videos that I put out of these cars that we're doing together? And the answer is like, no, I watch the funny parts and I multitask just like everybody else. And I enjoy the content, but I don't pay a lot of attention to the details. But man, this thing's great. I gotta tell you, like, first impression, I love hatchbacks. I think they're super fun to drive. The short wheelbase just makes it feel like, oh, dude, it's amazing. Super tight. Suspension on this thing, super tight. And this thing doesn't have like crazy tires. They're not Pilot Sports or Cup 2s or anything like that. They're kind of like basic all-season tires. I'll bet this thing with some like real tires on it would be amazing. But we're gonna hook it down a kind of a twisty, bumpy road here. Just see what we think. Now Cam told me I should do R mode, so we're gonna see what R mode's about. So I went R. Now I get Comfort, Sport, Race, Drift, Special, Custom. I'm just gonna go R is for Race because I feel like that's where we should go. And it definitely got louder. We'll see what else happens once we start to drive a little bit here. Dash is all touchscreen. Like the actual instrument, like the not the instrument cluster, but like the like display screen itself is touchscreen. But then the actual dash, like the top of the dashboard, is touch haptic, which was cool. It surprised me. I didn't know that was like that. Rearview mirror's got some garage door openers on it. There's some lighting. There's a wrench up here. I don't know why there's a wrench on the roof. Maybe that's how you call help when it breaks. Sunroof. Ooh, the sunroof is like, oh, that's pretty slick. The sunroof is like touch. It's like glass. There's not an active button. All right, we got a green light. Let's go. Okay. Alright. Whole different. Okay, that would piss off the neighbors. That was a little louder. It's not crazy. I'm listening to see if it drones. I'm going 45. No drone. So even in race mode, it doesn't drone, but it pops kind of cool on the D-cell. Watch Cam's videos, you'll hear the exhaust in the D-cell. Like in his videos, he puts a mic back there and you can really hear it, and it sounds pretty awesome. Oh yeah, this thing could be a lot of trouble actually, because it's like it's easy to. All right, that was cool. That was new. GoPro overheated. That's what happens, I guess, when it's 95 and you have this thing stuck on the windshield. So, picking up where I left off, this thing would be easy to get in a lot of trouble with because it just inspires a ton of confidence, and it's actually kind of fast. Now, I just got through telling you it's 95 outside, so turbo car in 95, you're not getting anywhere near peak performance, but like, man, this thing runs. Let's take a little rip. This thing runs pretty good. Cam, man, I gotta tell you, I'm impressed. Now, I didn't get to drive this one stock. I just handed over, I traded Cam this for a new WRX STI that we picked up. And the WRX, I don't know, you can look at the video. I made like a first impression video after I took delivery. We'll just say I wasn't super impressed. We'll see how it changes when I get it back. Maybe this one would have been the same. But like, this thing feels alive. It feels good. Probably a little firmer than I would want, like on the ride quality for an everyday car. But I also probably wouldn't have bought one of these unless I was doing this deal with Cam. So, you know, that's life. I'm probably not the target audience for a Golf R, but this thing's sick. Like, I actually really want to go do autocross in this. I feel like this would be a really fun autocross car, or like there's a kart track here in town, like a go-kart track, and I feel like this thing would just tear that up. I don't think it's like quite. I don't think it's quite like fast enough. Maybe it is fast enough to like be fun on a big track, but I don't know. Maybe it is. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fast actually. I rescind my not fast enough comment. It's plenty fast. I just think it's also really little. And so it'd be a lot of fun on a tight track because I feel like you could just carve it up and it would be a blast. It corners well enough to lose my phone under the seat for whatever that's worth. Oh, look at that. It has a wireless charger. Learn something new every day. So I put the phone up there. There's like a pocket. I put it in there. And it says charging mobile device. It's great because my phone was at 50%. So bonus. This thing actually has pretty good tech. I got to give them that. I started this video by negging German car tech. And I mostly do that because my wife has a Range Rover. And this thing's terrible. It's like you can like leave our house and I can get to the dealership and like the boot sequence hasn't finished. It's amazing. It'll take like 10 minutes sometimes. But this thing's pretty good. It's like snappy. It's a little like as you're trying to navigate the screen, there's a slight delay. And it's funny to me because like you feel like a German car would be better, but some of the new American, like the Ford Sync stuff is super crisp and fast. These are a little laggy. Not anything crazy, but just know that. But it's got all the stuff. Heated and cooled seats. Looks like it's got adaptive cruise. It's got like a one-touch kind of Tiptronic transmission. It sounds amazing. It makes turbo noises and pulls like reasonably good. And it's like really tame to drive. Like that, you saw me. I was one hand on the wheel, kind of cooking around a corner, talking to you, and zero worries. Just, it's a 4-cylinder turbo, so make sure you got enough RPM to make it interesting. Otherwise, you're gonna like send a check and then have to wait for the turbos to come on for it to like go. So just know that. cool in this thing though, how all, like, there's no like pressy buttons. They're all like touch buttons. I shouldn't say no. The gear shifter's a pressy button. Park and engine start stop and the parking brake are like, pressy button is not the technical term. They're like active buttons, I guess would be the technical term, where they move. The rest of them are like just touch glass, like an iPhone or something, which is kind of cool. Overall, like, I'm a big dude, you know, 6'2", 250, and seats feel pretty good. They have enough support, but enough room. You could easily do a road trip in this thing, no problem. I think for somebody who's smaller, they also have enough bolstering and lumbar that you can pull them in and feel good in them. I dig this thing overall. Now, unfortunately, on my fun curvy road here, I've gotten stuck behind a work truck, so we may pull over and wait for them to move on. Yeah, we're gonna take a little detour and come back. That was really aggressive. I downshifted, and it was really, really aggressive. I'm processing how I feel about that. It was super aggressive. Super aggressive. I think I hit the rev limiter when I downshifted, and it just felt ultra aggressive. All right, let's go. It's kind of fun because, like, when it shifts, it lets it hit the limiter for just a second, and it feels like a base speed a little bit. But man, this thing is great. This thing handles as good as just about anything I've driven. I've driven a 488 up this road, new Z06, 911 turbos, NSXs. I'm nervous to say it's just as good, but it feels really darn close. Now, granted, this is modified; those are stock, but like, this thing's pretty good. Oh yeah, this thing's great. Great with a capital G. We're going back to comfort. My ears are happy. It's actually not that much quieter. It just moves the shift points around. Okay, it is a lot quieter when you're like just decel cruising, but it moves the shift points around. Comfort's super chill. I think I could probably take my mom for a ride in this. I don't think she'd really complain in comfort mode, which is a good thing. Passed the mom test. It is funny though, because when you put it in race mode, you don't hear any of the suspension noise. When you put it back in comfort mode, suddenly you hear all the suspension noise. But it makes a huge difference because it feels like a dog in comfort mode because of where it keeps you in the RPM band. Whereas in race mode, like I said, it's like aggressively responsive. I don't know. This thing's pretty cool. That was my gate clicker, sorry. Seatbelt adjuster works on both sides. That's interesting. It's got a grab handle on the driver's side. Usually cars don't have grab handles on the driver's side. I guess, like, I don't know. I don't know what that's for. Maybe it's to help you get in and out. It's weird. Super weird. Cam, that's weird. Side curtain airbags. It's got Harman Kardon. I don't want to play music because then we'll get copyright infringed on YouTube if I put music in the video, so not going to play any music. It's got heated mirrors. one-touch windows. The window controls are in the right place, unlike the Bronco. If you missed the part of this where I'm trying to figure out how to open the trunk, you should watch that part, because it's actually super sick that they make the emblem on the back the lever for the trunk. I thought that was pretty trick. It's got 2 USB-C chargers here. Whoa. Hang on. I don't know what I just did. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. There's like a thing in the cup holder that when you push the button, it like pivots and it makes it into an actual cup holder for like a smaller cup instead of a big one. That's kind of cool. This thing has a lot of cool little stuff in it, I gotta tell you. I think these are like $45,000 MSRP cars. I'd say they punch above their weight from a tech perspective. Fit and finish wise, it's kind of what you'd expect from a $45,000 car. There's some parts of it that are pretty nice, like the wheel. $80,000 car wheel. I like the wheel a lot. This carbon trim, pretty slick. The rest of it, $45,000 car stuff. Seats are above average. I don't know how much a stock Golf is, but the Golf R, I would assume, is at least a little bit more than a stock Golf. Maybe it's a lot more, and maybe this is way not nicer than a normal Golf. I actually don't know. Never been in a Volkswagen Golf before this. But it's cool. I dig it. I think whoever buys this is going to be pretty pumped, because this car at auction stock right now, dealers are going to pay probably 38 grand for this thing. Maybe 40, 38 to 40, and that's at auction. So, you know, retail 41 to 43. There's probably somebody that'll pay 45, and there's probably somebody that'll sell one for 37 or 38 retail. You know, people think car dealers make a lot of money. They don't. Like, their average margin on a car is like a couple grand. Like, yes, sometimes they'll hit home runs and make 5 or 10 or whatever, but by large in part, it's a pretty low margin business. Most dealers try to make their money on F&I, and it's the insurance and the warranties and the paint protection and the financing and everything else, where they make a little extra dough that makes it interesting. We don't really do that stuff. I'm pretty low volume. Do like 20 cars a year, and it's mostly stuff like this that I think is cool. Keeps me out of trouble on the weekends, and I get to have fun. That's the real thing. So this car, like I was saying, I think probably retail on it's around 41-ish right now. With everything Cam did, you'll see he just posted a video on this today. If you bought this car and just pretend you paid 41 for it, this car would cost you like 55 or 56,000 without even thinking about sales tax or anything else, just to recreate this thing. So like with sales tax and everything, I think this probably takes like almost 60K to replicate this car. So whoever gets it, we're gonna sell this bad boy no reserve on Cars and Bids. Who knows what it goes for? Maybe it goes for 60, maybe it goes for 35. I don't know. Depends on how many people want it. That's kind of the fun part. I think like the inner gambling degenerate in me really likes that part of this thing that we've set up with Cam. And you know, so far it's been all right. We've at least made a couple bucks on each car, and so that's good. And hey, we signed up. If it sells at a loss, you get a great deal. So it works for us, works for you. I think you'll really enjoy this thing. I didn't have any issues this time driving it with the coolant. The first time I drove it, I had a coolant light pop on. If you see when I'm doing the tour around the outside of the car, you'll see that ECS hood strut does hit the coolant, the carbon fiber cover on the coolant tank. So if you ever have a coolant issue, like, don't freak out, just check that. It's probably just a little crooked off the sensor. And when it gets crooked, the water level drops below the sensor, and the sensor doesn't like it. So know that that's the thing, but really not a big deal. appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. This is going to be one of our longer videos, but I wanted to give this car some love because, you know, Cam put a ton of time and energy into this. Him and Parker, I think they do a great job, like really helping people get their heads around what does it take to do a build like this. You know, it was 2.5 months of work for him to do the build, shoot the content, get everybody lined up and get it done. And so there's a lot that goes into doing things like this, and I'll tell you, I learned a lot from Cam and Parker, and it's fun. I appreciate the guys letting me be involved. Let's me kind of get back to my roots a little bit. So thanks again for watching. Appreciate you guys and your interest. Please subscribe to the channel, check it out. We're doing more of these now. We're getting ready to do another really fun series. We're going to be doing a track day and a new Z06 coming up, which I think that's going to be some cool stuff to watch. But more than anything, hit us up if you have questions. We're here to help. Appreciate you.